I'm not making any money. This is for educational purposes only. Fair use. Fair use. Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachacha Kodash. I'd like to give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father, and have come back to the fold. Shalom. To you sisters, your akhwatim, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. This your brother Aram Yahawada with the lesson.
Public health authorities have increased preparedness measures as the Department of Medical Services directed hospitals under its supervision to prepare for potential Nipah virus patients.
The Department of Medical Sciences says it is fully prepared to detect and monitor the Nipah virus after reports of a new outbreak in India, while health authorities are stepping up screening measures at airports.
Well, could the next pandemic make the height of the COVID-19 outbreak look mild? That's what some experts are predicting for what's being called Disease X.
So I am very worried that we just don't, we as a nation, we haven't made that commitment to really fully protect the American people.
We caught up with internationally recognized Dean of the National School of Tropical Medicine at Baylor and co-director of the Texas Children's Hospital Center for Vaccine Development, Dr. Peter Hotez, who's traveling to get his take on the topic.
First, we have a likelihood that new pandemic threats, that people call them Disease X, are going to be rising on a regular basis.
And Dr. Hotez says Disease X, the next pandemic, could hit hard whenever it arrives. Why do you think some experts are predicting the next pandemic will make COVID-19 look like a walk in the park?
I've written about this as well. I wrote for the Houston Chronicle a couple of months back that COVID-19 is just a warm-up act. The next pandemic may not be as severe, but it could be much worse.
The Department of Medical Sciences said the National Institute of Health is ready to detect Nipah virus in suspected patients using real-time RT-PCR tests, which offers high sensitivity and accuracy. The test can be performed on multiple sample types, including blood, respiratory secretions, spinal fluid, and urine, with results available within 8 hours. No case Nipah virus has been reported in Thailand so far. However, health officials are encouraging the public to take basic precautions, including avoid contact with animals that carry the virus, washing fruit thoroughly before eating, and washing hands after handling animals, raw meat, or animal carcasses, especially bats, pigs, horses, cats, goats, and sheep. Meanwhile, Chiang Mai
of Nipah virus is raising alarm after the virus outbreak has been reported in India's West Bengal. Several airports across parts of Asia are on high alert. Many have tightened health surveillance and travel screening. At least 2 cases of Nipah virus have been confirmed in West Bengal. A total of 5 cases were suspected earlier. The last few weeks have seen stringent measures against a possible Nipah virus outbreak in the East Indian state. The neighboring states of Odisha and Kerala too are on high alert. Thailand, Nepal, and Taiwan are some of the Asian countries that have stepped up the precautionary measures after Nipah virus cases were reported in West Bengal. The countries have introduced enhanced surveillance for travelers arriving from West Bengal. These airports have reinstated airport health screenings, especially for travelers arriving from high-risk areas. According to World Health Organization, symptoms of Nipah can include fever, headache, muscle pain, vomiting, and sore throat. According to reports, Thailand's Ministry of Public Health has increased the health screening at major airports for passengers arriving from West Bengal. The screening test has been adapted from frameworks developed during the COVID-19 pandemic. In Nepal, health desks have been set up to screen travelers for symptoms, while hospitals and border health units have been instructed to report and manage suspected cases promptly. Taiwan is also planning to classify Nipah infection as a top-level notifiable disease. It would require immediate reporting and control measures. The World Health Organization has described the Nipah virus as a priority pathogen because of its potential to trigger an epidemic. The virus is transmitted through contact with infected animals, especially fruit bats, contaminated food, and close contact with infectious bodily fluids from an infected person.
Yeah, so this is Deuteronomy 28 and 59, right? Being these are what the curses. The Lord said, "Hearken diligently unto my commandments," and if you don't, all these curses should come upon you. Matter of fact, let's jump up there real quick. Because this is the time that we're living in as far as what? Judgment, right? We're at the end of this, the end of all things, of Esau's world, the way we've been, able to just, be apart from our power, not knowing the truth, but the Lord raised up an elect to restore us back, but the Lord's only dealing with the elect on this side at this point, so, but what happened is what we got separated, and those who do not listen and do not come back, they're going to be destroyed. And this is just part of the curses. This is Deuteronomy 28 and 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh, right, which is all caps, which is Yahweh, thy power, right, through his only begotten son now, this point, because even then Yahweh Shai was in the wilderness. He was that fathership, that flying mountain, flying over Israel, keeping them, shaded in the day and giving them light at the night. So it's always been Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, to observe and to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses, right, which curses are not good, shall come upon thee and overtake thee, right? And that's dealing with the time that we're living in, this Nipah virus, or wherever they trying to spin it off, right? Because they're trying to tell you, oh, this is gonna be worse than the pen. Well, nothing's haven't happened, but it's pretty much the same thing they did during the so-called, scamdemic, and they're looking to do it again. And maybe this might be a little more, they might have put something out there that's a little more powerful. So, oh wait, this time it's real, or this, but the whole thing is, hey man, you're gonna have to gird up your loins, the loins of your mind, and train yourself to endure. Right? It's gonna be a lot of deaths, a lot of things happening. Right? It says, then Yahweh will make the plagues, the plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed, right? Because this thing is gonna, it's gonna even be upon the children, even great plagues, and of large continuance, right? So it's just gonna continue to happen, right? And this time it ain't gonna stop. Right? You had the CV-19, and there was a time period where they kind of put things to and kind of open back up the country again, for this short space. But they know they have but a short time, so they're going to implement it once again That's how they could just be so sure. Oh yeah, this is gonna definitely make a pandemic. You know, why not just an epidemic? Why wouldn't it just stay over there? And you notice they kept trying to mention airports. So you mean poor people who don't have the means to get any type of medicine, and uh and end up in the spirit world, so to speak. They be unalived through these things. They got money to get on the plane, but they want to put this fear that, yo, yeah, you know what, these people, they're getting on the planes, and the planes go to all these different places in the world, and we can never know where it came from. Well, all the so-called modern technology, and you don't know, right? AI can't detect everything and cure it. Since you're so advanced, you're so great. You mean? I can't fall for it. You know what I'm saying? I just can't. But at the same time, we know they're gonna do things, and it will. It's going to happen. Things are going to happen. Though it might be a psyop or psyop, a yop, a people are going to be unalived. Even your children, your seed, plagues of thy seed, even great plagues, and of long continuance, and sore sickness, see, and long continuance, right? Hey, man, and that's what the Lord is about to bring upon the earth. See, these are all signs of the time. Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, right? But you have those things, the gout, the diabetes, all these different things like that. The basic little things that they had, but now you got these things that they're just creating in the lab, making things function that never functioned. It's something that gained a function that never had a function, and they already said that this is what they were doing during the CV-19, right? This is your so-called governments, your leaders around the world were doing this against you as the people, and that's not just America, that's the people of the world, right? And they want to make sure you have all the diseases of Egypt, which thou was afraid of, and they cleaved unto thee, right? And they want to make sure these things cleave unto you. But my thing is right here. And also, right, this is the point right here. Every sickness and every pledge which is not written in the book of the law. See? And that's basically where you get your scientists, where you're coming up with these gains of functions, right? That never was at one point in a particular time, right? And you notice they said something about bats all over again, right? Because hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They're gonna keep running that same scenario, right? Now it's every animal on the planet. You know what I'm saying? Which they might put it in your food. They say, oh yeah, be careful of the different things you go get at the grocery store. They probably put it in there. Oh, just so happened, accidentally, this thing snuck into the factory when you have to go through so many protocols in the factory. You know what I mean? And even most likely, I would think they would test and go through certain things before they even put the animals to slaughter. I'm pretty sure they do these things, but somehow the meat is contaminated or something happens, though, you gotta go through a whole bunch of protocol and a bunch of cleansing things and testing things way before you chop it up, way before you wrap it up in a wrapper and all these different things. And then, but of course, your what is it called? Food and drug enforcement things tell them that, hey, they can use infinite amount of different type of poisons in your food. It's okay, right? But they're gonna shut down things according to these things. I think you got some of that. That Nipah, that creeper Nipah, right? And then creeped over there. Oh, it came over here and it did this. No, we got to shut down this shop. Oh, the Tyson's meat, we got to shut down because it got it. So and so whatever thing. Oh, it got it. So we gotta keep on. Oh, we got to shut this down, right? Or they let some creep in. Another person in so-called wherever America. Oh, they got the food from the grocery store and got sick. And now their whole family is sick. You know what? I think we better shut the whole country down, right? Because if they can't get you people to order out of kale, they're gonna shut it down another way. Either way it goes, they have plans on shutting down the country. So they might just use the gains of functions of something of some sorts. It says also every sickness and every plague, which is not written in the book of the law, then them will Yahweh bring upon thee until thus be destroyed. And seeing that's for most of you Israelites, man. You 2/3 of the Lord's people. Hey, things are gonna happen to a lot of you. You reprobates. Which, hey, it can happen to any of us, right? But our thing is to keep the faith, man. Trust in Yahweh Bashem Shai, hey, and hey, he's gonna keep us from the sickness, man. Right? Yeah. So this is Psalms 91 and 7 says 1,000 shall fall at thy side and 10,000 at thy right hand, right? Because people are going to be getting sick. So we're looking for protection from the Most High, right? Through his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. And, prepping certain things, keeping your body healthy, drinking enough fluids and, taking different vitamins, herbs, you know what I mean? It helps, what is it that, silver, colloidal silver, right? Take some colloidal gold, try to keep your body in shape as best as you can. These are the times. A clove of garlic. You can suck on a clove of garlic in your mouth. Gargle lemon juice every morning. Keep yourself. Protecting yourself. Those are carnal things, but ultimately, the spiritual things is the Most High, right? But it shall not come nigh thee, right? And that's through the Spirit, right? There's a couple carnal things we could do, medicines and herbs and certain things, exercise. But the main thing is that the Spirit says, only with thy eyes shalt thus behold and see the reward of the wicked, right? That's these Jakes dropping, you know, being unalived, by these different plagues, the diseases, but also what these these ice agents, this these what they call it, national guards, race wars, civil wars. People are going to be dropping dead. A lot of people are going to be dying, right? That's why you're going to see falling 1,000 at that right hand. You may, what I mean, 1,000 people more. What I mean. That's just not necessarily just 1,000, but just saying like a lot. You know what I mean? Because most likely it'd be a lot more than 1,000. You see some getting laid down by the troops, by the ICE agents and things, and it says 10,000 at that right hand, and the other one's getting dropped by all these different plagues and diseases. So you're gonna see a lot of unaliving on many different levels. Then you of course you got the beasts, the wild beasts, the dogs to tear. You're gonna have all sorts of things. You know what I mean? People going at one another, right? The Lord said at the time where He's going to set a man at variance against his own household, which this is the household of Edom. They're going to go against each other. Edomite against Edomite. Jake against Jake. Egyptian against Egyptian. And that's where you're at. You're in this place. That's spiritually Egypt. Right? You're going to go against it. But it says, only thy eyes shall see and behold, only thy eyes shalt thou behold, which means feast your eyes, look, pay attention, and see the reward of the wicked, because thus has made Yahweh, which is my refuge, right? And that's our safety, which is Yahweh. I mean, beyond you could do, like I said, carnal things to keep yourself from being sick and things like that. Honey and honey and garlic, you soak them or whatever, but there's other things you could do too. It's called spiritual prayers, right? Because Yahweh is my refuge, which is my refuge. Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, which is my refuge. Even the Most High, right? Through His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, thy habitation, right? This is where I live at. I'm always constantly in the scriptures, constantly thinking about them, constantly thinking about the blessings, the healings, the miracles, right? Right? There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall the plagues come nigh thy dwelling, right? Your dwelling meaning who you are, your person, your body. You ain't get sick like that, right? And then one of the other plagues is the missiles. You want the Lord to be able to come and deliver you before the missiles hit, right? That's a plague too, right? So it's Matthew chapter 4, verse 23. And Yahweh Shai, right? Because the letter J is only 4,500 years old. Plus there's no E in the Paleo Hebrew. So we know that that's false, right? And if you go into that word sus, meaning dirty or filthy dirt, right? It's like filthy dirt or filthy pig, right? Which that's what that name would mean, right? If you want to break it down into the etymology of the word Jesus, right? Which is a false name, right? His name is Yahweh Shai. Went about all Galilee, teaching in their synagogues and preaching the gospel, which means good news of the kingdom. And that's where we're headed to now. Even though they're about to bring all these diseases, it's actually a good thing because it's about to show forth the kingdom of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, right? And healing all manners of sickness and all manners of diseases among the people. So this is a good thing that all this is going to happen. See, because really what's going to happen is, you know, those who do believe will be healed, you know, because it's time for the Lord to get his praise, to get the fullness of his praise. I mean, he made it back to Yahweh, and he sat down on the right hand of Yahweh, right? Being our high priest now, being our advocate, right? Our middleman between Yahweh and us, bringing us back to restore us, right? Kainos, you know what I mean? A refreshing. But it's time for him to get his name, you know, the Father's name to get praised, but also Yahushai to get his name praised. And it says, and his fame, right, went through all Syria, right? Which this time it's going to go throughout all the earth, right? And because this is going to be because I think a pandemic means the whole world, right? If it was an epidemic, it's just kind of in their area, a particular area, but they're guaranteeing it's going to be a pandemic. Okay, well, fine. Let you bring on your pandemic, but it's going to get what? And his fame went throughout all of Syria, which really this time it's going to go throughout all the world. And they brought unto him all sick people that were taken with diverse diseases, torments, those which were possessed with devils, and those which were lunatic, and those that had the palsy, and healed them, right? And that's all that's going to happen all over again. So we actually need this thing to happen, right? We need you to push your diseases, right? You know? Yeah, so this is John chapter 14, verse 11. Believe me, right? This is Yahushua speaking, that I am in the Father and the Father in me, right? So the Father and Yahushua are in agreement. They're not the same person. They're one being in agreement. They're one being like a marriage, because that's what the Lord speaks about this being, as a marriage. You know, let the two become one. You know, you're not your wife, but you two should be in agreement in the things that's going on within your household. You know. So, and that's how concerning the kingdom, right? The good news, the kingdom to come. Verily, verily, which means truly, truly, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, which is Yahushai, the works that I do shall he do also. See, and ultimately we believe Yahushai did these miracles. We're not one body, right? Because it used to be one body in Yahushai, but they don't believe in Yahushai, so they had to change it to being one body. One body of what? One dead body. You don't believe in anything. You don't believe in these works. So the works you're not going to be able to do. See, but we believe, we know these works exist, and we're going to be able to do them again, right? We're going to be able to do these works. Hey, wait. Not just these works. Wait, what it say? It says, believe on me, the works that I do shall he do also, and what? And greater. See? It's going to be those works he did and greater. It says, works then, greater works than those shall he do, because I go unto my Father. See, he's on the right hand of the Father now, And so this time they're going to bring forth these pledges, the diseases, things like that. And we're going to believe in those miracles, man. We're not going to be like these other camps or these other people in the world who don't know the name, first and foremost. And that's just the entry thing. But then what ultimately has to have what? The belief, the faith, the unwavering faith, unmovable, right? Scriptures talk about being unmovable, right? I believe, yeah, it talks about being unmovable, and it was another one. Scripture said, if I move, not greatly, because it's not like we're not going to be afraid. There's things that's going to frighten us, but at the same time, you gotta, even though in your fear, it's like, no, I believe in this. I'm about to be, I'm unmovable in this thing, right? I'm gonna believe in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, right? Then these shall he do, because I go unto my Father, and whosoever ye shall ask in my name, which is Yahweh Shai. You gotta know it. It's not the J word, right? You know, Yahweh Shai, that I will do, that the Father may be glorified, that the Father may be glorified in the Son, right? So through the Son, the Father will get the glory. So Yahweh Shai is going to get the glory regardless. He's going to have that fame all over again, right? It's going to get to higher heights, because we're going to do greater miracles than even in the time of Acts, right? Yeah, so this is Acts chapter 5, verse 15. And so much that they brought forth the sick into the streets, right? And where do we teach at? We teach in the streets, you know? And then where we're going to be at once all hell breaks loose, you know? The Lord said for us to be pilgrims. So we're going to be in all different type of streets, different places. We're not going to be out, you know, because right now the Lord said go into the chief places. We're not going to be in those chief places, right? We're going to be in different street places in the streets where, you know, where you know, these type of people, and laid them on beds and couches, that at the least the shadow of Peter pass by might overshadow some of them. There came also a multitude out of the cities round about unto Jerusalem, bringing sick folks, and them which were vexed with unclean spirits, and they were healed every one. See, so even Peter's shadow healed these people, every one. When your shadow was healing people, he didn't lay it on with the hands. He didn't baptize nobody, just his shadow. So the Lord is saying greater works than these are we're going to do. Bro, this man, this is going to be a good time. This is one of the times I've always looked for, you know, because the Lord said what? Yeah, so this is Hebrews chapter 2, verse 4. So the power of the Most High Yahweh, right, to its only begotten Son, which is Yahweh Shai, also bearing them witness, right? We're going to be, you know, the Holy Spirit is a witness, right? And all these signs, right? The healings, the miracles, also signs, both with signs and wonders, and with diverse miracles, which that's what he's going to give us too. It's not just going to be because he said greater works that you should be able to do. So there's diverse diseases, right? Different type of diverse diseases But the Lord says He's going to have you have with diverse miracles, which that's what Yahushua had, and He's saying you're going to have greater than what He had. He was able to have diverse miracles and gifts of the Holy Spirit according to His own will, right? And so, and he can heal, on command, so to speak. He didn't have to wait and do these other different things, and I'll come back and I'll, let's do a thing. I want you to spin around in a circle and jump on one foot for 2 seconds and then crack an egg and then do, none of that stuff. He was able to, boom, on his will, on the command. He spoke and it was done. It was so. It said within that hour, the person was healed. But we're the Lord said, greater works should we do. So it's going to be within that moment, right? On command, right when it's our will to ask for someone to be healed through the Son to the Father. That's how it's going to go. Because He said, I am my Father, and my Father in me, and I am in my Father. Right? And any man acts of me, the things should be given you. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to ask of Yahushua through Yahushua unto the Father, and it's going to happen according to his own will. For unto the angels had He not put in subject. For unto the angels had He not put in subjection the world to come. Right? Yeah, because that's ultimately what's happening. Right? The world to come is about to happen. Right? So the angels have to obey Him. Right? So these things are going to obey us. Those who believe in the miracles and should do greater works than these. Wherefore He spake, or wherefore we subject, what's like and He put not in subject the world to come, wherefore we spake. Okay, that's okay. But one in a certain place testified, saying, what is man? Right? Certain, angel, whatever, be saying, what is man? That thou art mindful. So who are these men or this man that you're mindful? It's literally the Son of God, Yahushua, right? The only begotten. And then he cares for, Yahweh cares for Yahushua. Yahushua cares for us. Yahweh cares for Yahushua, and Yahushua cares for us. So he's going to be mindful of us, right? That's the Most High is mindful of Yahushua. That thou art mindful of Him, right? That's or the Son of Man, right? Which is Yahushua, and visit him, right? And that's what the Lord did. I mean, it says, and thou madest him a little lower than the angels. Thou crownedst him with glory and honor, and didst set him over all. That set him over what? And did set him over the works of all thy hands. So if Yahushua just said, hey, you're going to greater works than these shall you do than what I've done, then what's going to happen? He's already got given the authority to give us the authority, right? Yeah. So this is 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 4. It says now there are diversities of gifts. See, diverse miracles, diversities of gifts, which is basically speaking of the same thing, but the same spirit, right? Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakakwadash, the same spirit. It says, and there are differences of ministrations, but the same out of one, right? Yahweh Shai, right? Which is gonna, he's one with the Father. He's in the Father's in him. He is in us, right? These things are going to occur. It's going to happen, right? And there are diversities of operations, but it is the same power, the Most High, Yahweh, right? Through his only begotten Son, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash, which worketh all in all. But the manifestation, which that's what's going to happen, man. It's going to be a great manifestation of this power. You're going to be like, oh, that's what it says. What it says, then it should be known who am I chosen. That's going to be, besides being able to be delivered from this thing to that thing to that thing, and then being delivered up, and they see you, being beamed up into the chariots. Besides that, a key factor is when you're able to perform these diverse miracles or these diversities of gifts, and you're able to perform that, they're going to be like, oh, it's them. Then they should know whom. Those are the chosen. Those are the chosen. And you're going to have a lot of influx of believers, man, because people are going to be healed. So all these things Esau doing, we need these things to happen. We need him to come in like a flood, because how else can we be saved from the hand of him from the hand of our enemy, which that's basically the definition of salvation, right? Or else how could we give the Yahweh Shai that fame and Yahweh that fame all over again, pushing forth these diverse miracles or diversities of gifts, as it says right here. Diversities of operations, but it is the same power which worketh all in all, but the manifestation of the Spirit, the Rakakwadash, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakakwadash, is given to every man, elect man, right? Then should they know who am I chosen, and profit wherewithal, right? Whoever has the sickness, they'll be healed. It'll profit them. They're going to be healed. This and that. People are going to be coming into the faith. We're at the end of Esau's world. And it's just, man, all over again. Right? Yeah. But at the same time, we know that all these things have to happen, And so 2 Ezra chapter 15, verse 5, behold, which means feast your eyes, look, pay attention, saith the Lord, the outer one, which is Yahweh Shai, right? And you can say Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakakwadash, which really basically is Yahweh Shai that's coming back, right? He's coming to lay on the bruising. Esau's been a cruising for a bruising, and that's what Yahweh Shai is finna do. Finna give him that bruising. So, got to feast your eyes, look, pay attention, because we're looking and hastening to the day of our Lord. We're looking forward to the day. We're going to rejoice in the day of his coming, Lord willing, So it says, behold, saith the Lord, the outer one, which is Yahweh Shai, I will bring plagues upon the world, right? And that's just the Lord. He's going to allow Esau to do these things. On the left-hand side, the sword, right, which Esau's the Lord's sword on the left-hand side, but it's going to be actually the literal sword, which the modern-day sword is the gun, but it's going to be literal swords too, because people are going to run out of bullets. So they're going to be, they're going to be pulling out these swords. People have been buying swords for a long time. You ever watch that thing? What is it called? The Home Shopping Network, and they'll have this so-called sword and this and that. People are going to be, in that last day, people are going to be pulling out those home shopping network swords and sharpening them, right? You know, so, but this is what the Lord's going to bring, the sword, famine, death, and destruction, right? The world as you know it it's already done. The world as you know it is finished. You're never going to go back into 1990, 1980, 1970s, the 60s, you know. I mean, this place is finished. It's out of here. It says for wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth. See? And that's what's happened already. Exceedingly polluted the whole earth. And they know it. Because this what do you think they're gonna be pushing? Not a epidemic, a pandemic. So it has to go over the whole earth. The whole earth, and the hurtful works are fulfilled. See, and that's got to be fulfilled. These things have to be across the whole entire earth for Esau to fulfill the last bit of his sins that he's going to do, the last bit of his atrocities, which is trying to wipe out humanity. There's about 8 billion people, and he wants to wipe out like 7.5 billion people in order to afford his Novus Ordo Seclorum, right? So if that's the case, then it's all prophecy. It all has to happen. Therefore, saith the outer one, which is Yahushua, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, right? See, these elite, they've been doing all sorts of wickedness, and that's why you've heard the thing with the Epstein list come out. You're seeing them basically showing their horns, saying, hey, that these ICE agents have immunity. They don't have to have a warrant. They can go into your house. They can do this. They can do whatever, And there's a sowing division too, because think about it. You may have a friend that's so-called an illegal alien, and he cool with you, hey, what's up, man? I'm cool. You chop it up with him every now and then when you see him. But you can't have that dude in your house, right? Even though that thing is gonna go beyond just the immigrants, but just as of now, they haven't really did any of that yet. Besides the two little, supposedly. They did it to some, unalive some Edomites, but we don't know if that's, one of those, those things just to roar up the people, or was real. If but the anger is real though, like with most people, and that's what they want. They want to do an emotional spill. And then it'll turn into order out of chaos. But if they can't get that, they plan on bringing out lockdowns to shut you down through this what's it called? I forgot. Nipah or whatever, Nipah or X disease, however they call it, whatever. But they plan on doing another lockdown, which they profanely commit. Neither will I suffer them in these things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me. Right? So when you're dealing with that, what the you may be slaughtering a bunch of Israelites, and it seems like you're getting away with it, but the innocent and righteous blood of the Israelites is crying to the Lord. So then that's going to provoke the Lord to intervene, right? Especially when you get to beheading the elect in these last days, it's going to provoke Yahweh Shai to pop up on you. You know what they say? Pull up, right? They say Trump talking about the F around and find out. Well, hey, Yahweh Shai is the ultimate F around and find out. He's the ultimate pull up, you know, Mr. Pull Up, man. He gonna pull up on you in a flying mountain, man. He's about to pull up on you. You know? So it says, they wickedly exercise themselves, right? That's Jake. Jake wickedly exercised themselves, you know, following the ways of Esau. But Esau, he exercises it because it's in what it talks about it being in the power in their hands. They exercise it because it's in the power of their hands. So that's what they're doing. It says, behold, which means look, pay attention. The innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. See? You ain't finna get away. See, now it provokes Yahweh Shai to show up. He gonna pull up on you. And therefore, saith the outer one, which is Yahweh Shai, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. And the Lord's going to come through and deliver the elect. Right? It talks about the dead being in the chariots first, and then those that be alive after that. You know, but this is all what to push forth that plague, right? Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter, and I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, right? See, and that's bringing on those plagues, those diseases of Egypt. So you're going to push forth the disease, and the Lord's not going to allow the elect to be amongst all that, right? You know, we have to go through certain things, but the Lord ain't going to just keep us here. The Lord says He's going to shorten the days for the elect's sake, right? Or else no flesh will be saved, right? Which we read that. It says, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues. Woo! Hey, you're going to get slapped with plagues as before and destroy all the land thereof. See? And ultimately, look, it's really only going to affect your kingdom. It's not affecting the kingdom to come. It's because all those diseases, the Lord's going to give us what? Diverse miracles, diverse diversities of gifts. We're going to be healing people. The ones who believe and need to be healed, they're going to be healed. They're going to believe, and we're going to be delivered with a mighty and stretched out hand. Right? The Lord's going to come with with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before. So as He's smiting Egypt, right? This modern day Egypt, the spiritual Egypt, which it says as before, right? Which the Lord, there's no record of the Lord smiting Egypt with plagues and then coming back and doing it again. It hasn't happened. It's talking about the spiritual Egypt, which is America, Babylon the Great, the daughter of Babylon, which is also known as Assyria, right? And Nineveh, right? Or the what is it called? The city of confusion, right? Right? So this place is going to get wiped out with plagues as before and destroy all the land thereof, right? And that's what the ICBM missiles. It's going to get wiped out. The besom of destruction, the lines of confusion, right? Babylon the Great being the city of confusion. The lines of confusion are going to get wiped out. You ain't going to have any more lines. It's just going to be one great big desert. Right? And Egypt shall mourn, and the foundations thereof, the foundations of it, Salakia, shall be smitten with plagues, right? Which is the missile. This time, the missile. So you got all these different diseases and airborne pathogens and things like that. The only way to kill that is through fire. So the ICBM missiles and laser beams from the chariots is going to cleanse it all up, man. Right? And show you what a true plague can do to wipe out things, and punishments of the power. See, and then all that power really comes from Yahweh, right? But the Yahweh gave him that authority. Hey, here, son, here's the authority. Go ahead and handle that business. And that's what he's finna do. Right? That the power, the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, shall bring upon it. See? So with all that, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah HaKodash. I'd like to give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well, to the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, Shalom, to the Israelite foreigners who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold. Shalom to your sisters, your akhwatim, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence, and the Bible ball, and Kwam Yasharallah.